Twitter, Twitter wanted Russian bots to be real. The government wanted Russiagate to be real. And then we've got another person, Ian, I'd love to get your thoughts on it. Noel Hoig says, this seems to be worse than the other Twitter file drops. I wouldn't go to that extreme, but would love your thoughts on it, Ian, before going to Catherine.
I would say, yeah. I mean, it does contribute to the greater whole, right? The greater whole being the whole Russia collusion narrative that never happened. That was manufactured whole cloth by the Clinton administration and was continued, perpetuated by the Biden administration. To this day, they talk about Russian disinformation campaigns, about Russian bots, and they use it to suppress free speech. That's all
Is it
there.
still part of the narrative now?
Absolutely. They have not walked back
Well,
from it.
Absolutely
let
right.
me give you guys the bigger picture here. Clinton was supposed to win. A war with Russia was on the books. Trump delayed the whole thing by 4 years, and they used the time while Trump was president to create this narrative, Russia bad, you know? And I knew there would be a war with Russia when I saw what they did with the WikiLeaks release, because I was involved in that, and I know those weren't Russian spies that provided the information to WikiLeaks. So when you look at all of this, it was really a setup to manipulate the minds of American people that, Russia is the bad actor, is interfering in elections, is hacking politicians, and is doing all this bad stuff, because they needed to create this narrative, because they knew they're going to be at war with Russia. And the reason they knew is because they plotted this coup in Ukraine. They knew and worked for many, many years after that happened.
Euromaidan.
The Maidan. After that, for many, many years, they worked with Ukraine to train the military, to provide them with arms, because the plan was to take over the Donbas and Luhansk and those areas. So Ukraine was preparing for a major military operation to take these areas back, plus Crimea. So the US knew sooner or later the Russians are going to do something about that. What they were thinking was they're not going to do anything about Donbas, but once it comes to Crimea and their military base there, that's when they thought the Russians will act. But Putin acted sooner. He said, we're going to have this conflict anyway, so we're going to have it at our timeline when we want. And that's why they went in earlier with the special military operation. But everything that happened in the US, anything to do with Russiagate and everything that happened after, was really just the preparation of the narrative that Americans will agree to a war with Russia.